you got to overcome your own self more than overcome anything else. So it's basically, I just started listening to the podcast. I started reading books, and you start to realize that it's on you to make the change.
We are live here with the Keep It Moving podcast. On today's episode, I am having a in-depth conversation with MJ. He is one of my clients that is absolutely killing it right now. He is down, I believe, 58 pounds since he started with me and just absolutely crushing it right now. He has taken on a whole new mindset in his journey, and it has really shown in the results. It really just goes to show that if you're able to change your mindset, your body will then follow. Um, MJ has completed 75 hard just recently. He got right into phase one, I believe. And we're going to just talk about his journey, what has worked for him, what got him started in the first place, and all things like that. But so without further ado, I'm going to let him give a little intro and we will get started with the questions.
What's up, guys? I'm MJ. Originally from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Now currently in Charleston, South Carolina. I met Justin through flag football, actually, as a an opponent, and then it's not easy to get along with me. I'll say that, but especially when when you're competing with me. But
100%.
but after a couple seasons, and that was a long period of time. I'd say like 2 years. We actually grew a bond and a friendship, and that's how I kind of got started here in the Movement is Medicine group. Um,
Awesome.
I'm doing all right. I could do better, but down 58 pounds. Um, the complete change in my mindset is actually unbelievable because uh, most times I was just like, oh, screw it. Like I wouldn't even care what I was eating. I wouldn't care what was going on. And just by joining the group and getting like a little taste of what we got going on in here, it helped me change my life pretty much.
So, with your mindset, I don't even think this was a question that I gave you before. It just kind of comes up, and that's the beauty of these conversations. But so, when it comes to your mindset, what would you say caused that switch, and what would you say is different now compared to where you were when you were first starting out?
Um, I would say, to be honest, I've been listening to a lot of Andy on the Real AF podcast, and reading a lot of like self help books. Even before like I even started like doing 75 hard and really getting into it here, I was reading like a lot of self help books. But it's pretty much like a lot of the same thing, saying my dog's about to start acting up, so that's pretty good, and that's gonna be great.
That's all right.
But a lot of the things that they said in there was basically what Andy says about your inner bitch voice, and yeah, you got to overcome your own self more than overcome anything else. So it's basically, I just started listening to the podcast. I started reading books, and you start to realize that it's on you to make the change. And one day I woke up, just like snapped out of me. I said, you know what? I'm sick of being lazy. I'm sick of being at that time. I was probably like 240 pounds, 250 pounds, somewhere around there. And I knew I had it in me. That wasn't the case. It was just more about breaking my daily habits, replacing the bad habits with good habits. And I just got it done. To be honest, something just clicked,
No,
and I
you're not
just did
kidding.
it. Yeah,
And you're still not done. That's the best part. That's the best part about these
that's
journeys
right.
is that they're ongoing. So you said that you got into some self-help books. Again, this is the beauty of the conversation. I didn't give you any of these. What what ones would you say would you recommend to someone that's struggling with their own mindset and their own as far as, you know, you reaching out and getting started in the first place, like what made you want to do that? I know you talked about, being, feeling lazy and things like that, but dive into that a little bit deeper.
Well, I was overweight. Obviously, I lost I lost a tons of weight, so I was overweight. I was kind of lacking like motivation. I go to work and I figured like just working 8 to 10 hours a day, I'm good. I could go home and just be lazy. I could just, do the dishes, like do our regular household chores and be okay. But then you start to realize that if you're going to like put in work 8 hours for an employer, why not put it in time for yourself? So it started there. Um, what also helped is you being a friend. I always wanted to like basically support and join the community for that reason as well. Because when you see your friend doing something that he really enjoys, and especially when it's something positive for the people around him, um, the least we could do is jump in on that and ride the train with them.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. But other than that, my family, they kind of don't really care about their health, I would say. So like my father has like high cholesterol, um, high blood pressure. He's a real like he's a bigger guy, and he has a lot of health issues for that reason because he doesn't watch what he eats, he doesn't watch what he drinks. He drinks a lot of soda and things like that. And I didn't want to go down that path because obviously I'm a son, so I could probably end up being like the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just it's easy to follow that path of your genetics.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is one of those things that, like, yes, there's a genetic component for sure, but there's obviously the nature versus nurture talk. And like,
Right.
if you grow up, like I grew up, we had fried foods 4 days a week minimum. Like there's French fries on the plate 4 days minimum, just because it's so cheap and easy to get together and throw on a plate. That, like, now granted, it might have been like fresh cut potatoes, but it was still deep fried. And
Yeah.
like, when you have that as like a normalcy for you over such a long period of time, you kind of adopt that to an extent, and you think that that's like a good and normal thing that's going on. It's like, oh, okay, like this must be how everyone has like eats throughout their day. And then like, that bring me to my next question would be, how has my coaching and how has the community itself just helped, advance you along in your journey so far?
So your coaching to start has helped like tremendously because first you're always there to like answer any kind of question. I've texted you numerous times about it could be the dumbest thing. It could be about supplements, what time I should take my supplement. It could be what supplement should I take because like I'm always looking to get better. So um, I know you have a lot of information and knowledge and friends around you that have used pretty much everything that First Firm has to offer. So it's you're a good reference point, 1,000%. The next thing is you're consistent, like you're always posting on the page, you're always like handing out knowledge. It's very easy to follow too. It's not overwhelming. Like you're sitting there reading 5 paragraphs of information, you break it down to where it's basically like bullet points and like where the facts stick, and not all the extra stuff in between. um Another thing is obviously we're friends, so we have each other's phone number. So if you start to see me like slacking a little bit, you'll be the first person to text me like, "Yo, what's going on, man? You doing all right? Are you doing everything that you need to be doing?" You're always there to, and when people are slacking too because you get our weekly photos, and you could tell, what I mean, like you can't hide the work that you put in every single week, and just your feedback in that way because you're truthful too. Because there's a couple of times where you could tell where like I was kind of like slacking off and maybe I wasn't getting as many steps in. I was probably eating like today. I'm eating chicken Alfredo, so I'm having some carbs, and carbs make me bloat, make me Like carbs are probably like my biggest enemy, to be honest. But you would see that in my picture, and you'd be the first person to call me out on it. So you hold me accountable as well. And your coaching is that's one of the reasons why I think you do so well at coaching.
Yeah, I appreciate that. As far as the, information that I share and things like that, like absolutely, I know there's so much that goes into it, and I just try and put it out there how, like when I was in school and things like that, I would hate when like professors or teachers would give you like this whole big paragraph of something. It's like, why are you giving me all this word salad and I can just take these like 3 words out of it, and that's really all I needed from it.
Right,
Because at the end of the day, you see those like whether it's a trigger word or whatever, and that's really all like people need to really see is the meat and potatoes of it. You don't need the word salad. Although
right,
salad,
right.
salad's good for micronutrients, but word salad not so much.
That's why I just take the micro factor.
Not an ad. Um um but yeah, and as far as like the having each other's number and being able to reach out that way and things like that, that actually brings me to the one point because when you first started, you did lose 20 or 30 pounds. You
Yeah,
lost 20 or 30 pounds, and then you kind of just stopped. And so I reached out to you, and I think this was at a time that you ended up getting a new phone or a new phone number or something like that. And so
yeah.
I didn't hear back from you for a while. I tried reaching out to you on like Instagram, Facebook, and then I think you messaged me back on one of those platforms versus texting me. Um, would you want to dive into a little bit of one, I guess, what it was like to lose that weight and then why you stopped, but then how you were able to battle back and bounce back from that, and now it's something that seems like it's going to be here for a long time.
Right. So it started off just by changing my habits. So I would only drink water instead of drinking a lot of tea. Um, I would replace like eating fried foods like we were just talking about and maybe like a sweet potato, like a big sweet potato, and start in there. Instead of eating fried chicken tenders, I'd literally just grill a whole bunch of chicken tenders for like 3 days or chicken breast for 3 days. So it's easily accessible. And then when those things are like easily accessible in front of you, that's what you eat. So it started off by changing my habits that way. And the things around me, I wasn't going out buying sodas and then putting it in the fridge. So it kind of just started by what I was putting into my house. Because I think diet and getting your daily steps and drinking the water are probably like the most important factors. I think, especially if your goal is just losing weight. Because especially with the water for like the inflammation and obviously getting steps in because when I first started, I was like getting like 20 to 30,000 steps like daily. It was actually like draining, you know. But that's how it started. Um, I had a lot of success with it. I probably went. It was probably a couple months, probably like 3 months, 4 months, and I lost that weight. And then I got a second job. I went down to a burner phone instead of having like like an iPhone. And then I just honestly, just I made an excuse saying that I didn't have time, which now I know that's not the case. It's what you prioritize. But so a lot of that just had to do with I didn't think that I had the time to basically continue in my journey at that time.
Right.
But now I don't have a second job and I have one job, but I just have if you want to make the time for it, you're gonna make the time for it. And I guess back then, to be truthful, like I wasn't prioritizing that over other things in my life. And then it just clicked to where I needed to prioritize this instead of prioritizing other things
Because of the stuff that you said with your dad.
because of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because of like health issues. I didn't want to go down that same path.
Yep. No, that's very fair. And honestly, um, it I think that's what it comes down to for everybody is that they need to hit a certain point that they see that, where they're going and headed is not going to turn out well for them if they continue that path, whether that be, with addiction. I know that's not what we're talking about, but like whether that's with addiction, whether that's with food, because I mean you can be addicted to food too, so it
Yeah, most
it kind of
definitely.
ties in. But um you almost have to hit that like rock bottom point that helps you see that you need to change what it is that's happening. And that's kind of how I've started to like take it that much more seriously for me personally, because I went from, working out just to like look good and have like the aesthetics and whatever, and maybe perform well with like whatever sport I was playing. But then, you know, I had my little health scare where I passed out at work, and it was like, whoa, all right. I don't want that to ever happen again. Like I was like, I think I was 31 when it happened. So I was like, I don't need to be 31 years old and like worried about cardiac issues. So I'm gonna, start taking this a little bit more serious than just moving
Right.
weights around or being lazy and not doing it. So I I think that that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is why I started to do this full time, is because, as I'm sure you're aware, and anybody that listens to this can see if you have two eyes at this point, that our healthcare system is a reactive system, and it's built to help you once you're not feeling well. They don't do a great job, in my opinion, of being very proactive with people's health. How many times have you gone to a doctor's appointment where they talk to you about your nutrition and your activity level? It's very rare that that comes up.
Yeah, not often. Not often.
So that's kind of has steered me to this, and it's a lot more of a proactive approach to, getting to the issue and resolving it before it becomes too big of an issue. And that's really what I aspire to continue doing, and helping as many people as we can in this, in this process. So um next thing that I would bring up is, what has been your favorite part of the journey?
So the favorite part of the journey, I would say it is the grind, even though it sucks sometimes, like you don't want to do it. But I think that's when you see your most results, on the days that you don't want to do it. So when, especially this, so this is directly like, especially when I was doing 75 hard, because that's probably when I made like my best progress, I would say. Because I was forced to do everything to a T. Not forced, I don't want to say force, but um, I followed the program to a T. And if you follow your program to a T, the results are going to show. But now that I'm rambling again, what
That's
was
all
your
right.
go?
Yeah, man. Do
Go
your
back to the
thing.
original question. So, what was the original
Your
question?
your favorite part of the journey. You said it
Oh,
was
the
the
journey.
grind.
Right. All right. So I'm still on the right thing.
Yeah,
I'm just losing
exactly.
track of
You're good.
mine. Yeah. But yeah. So that's what it was, because after you put yourself through those uncomfortable like situations, waking up downpouring 4 o'clock in the morning. I start work at 5, so I'm waking up at like 4 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning to just get my first workout in. Downpouring outside, there might be water up to my ankle out in front of my house. Um, if you didn't know, Charleston is below sea level, so we flood with high tide, even if it doesn't rain here sometimes. So one of the street that I live on, we're technically in the moderate level flooding zone and not in the high level flooding zone, but it might not rain, and we'll be in waist deep water, at least just right onto my street, until I go about a block or two up, until I get to like a higher land. But
That's
there was a
crazy.
lot of that going on. Yeah, it was. There's a lot of that going on this year so far. Um, um, it's 110 degrees some days here in Charleston. It's humid as all hell. So putting yourself through those uncomfortable situations is really when you start to grow. And the days that you won't want to do it, and you push yourself through it, you feel so much better mentally and physically because you feel like you accomplished something. And um, if you could just in your mind get yourself to do that, and like through everything, like no matter what's going on out in the world or like the elements or any kind of condition like that, if you just go out what you're set to do, good things are always going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you can control, I mean, you can't control everything, but you can control obviously the things that you can, and you can control how you respond to things that happen. So at the end of the day, like you said earlier, it's going to come down to you and you prioritizing if it's worth doing or not. And um I agree, 75 hard is something that definitely helps you realize that. And I've told many people this, that honestly, because not everybody gets to that point where like they want to be that all in, and that's okay. Like if you're good with where you're at and you don't feel like you need to take it to another level and you don't want to, then there's no sense in trying to force you into that. But I will say, after doing 75 hard, that made coaching difficult for a little while, because it puts you in that mindset of like, why wouldn't people want to experience this? Why wouldn't people want to feel like what this feels like right now? Um, and so I think for a little while I was probably too hard on my coaching, because I was in like that mindset. And so like having to scale it back for certain people. So that's why it's so important to like figure out like how in are you out of 10? Like how intense do I need to be with you right now?
Most
Because
definitely.
it could scare some people away.
Yeah, if they're not like if they don't have like an intense personality the way it is, they're definitely just run at that point.
Right.
Because that's something that's serious. It's not something that you could half-ass do. You have to be all the way in on that. You know, it's all the way in, or you're not doing it.
Yeah. Um, Related but not related to your questions. I'm in a couple 75 hard groups. I don't know if you are on Facebook, and there's some people that are just hilarious that you could tell either just heard that like it's like like a challenge type thing, and like
Yeah,
that they don't know like the background of it. They've never listened to Andy, because like the
yeah,
questions that they'll ask, or like they'll try and like defend like why something is okay to do, or like even as simple as the gallon of water. Like they'll be like, no, like gallon of water is way too much water, can't do it. And it's like there's people that drink 2 gallons of water a day and are fine. Like like
So we actually have a group of friends we work with, and they never listen to Andy or anything. They just heard me doing it, and then they see me doing it, and they seen that I was like getting good results and all that, and then they wanted to do it. So I gave them like the whole outline and the formula on how to do it, and it probably like a day or two later, they were trying to like make their own thing and saying, "Oh, I'm doing 75 easy or something like that." I was like, "Please don't talk to me." I was like, "It's not the same thing."
yeah, yeah.
I was
My
like, "That's why there's a blueprint." It's like you have to stick to it because you're basically compensating every time you choose to do something wrong, and you're just going to continue to compensate and do
right.
things the wrong way.
Exactly. If you're willing to compromise one area of it, you'll compromise any area of it to justify it at some point in
Yeah,
time.
compensate. I'm saying compensate. What the hell am I talking about?
That's all right.
See,
Everyone
that's why you can't have me on here.
everyone compensates too.
I'm too fried for this.
Um, so we talked about your favorite part of my coaching. We talked about your favorite part of the journey. So obviously I do my coaching through the First Form app. With the app, what would you say like your favorite features of the app are, and that have helped you get the results that you've gotten?
So the first one I was obsessed with was the step leaderboard. Like I'd seriously be refreshing that like 150 times a day, and that's not even like joking. And a lot of you guys know that because of like all the battling that we were doing, especially when we first started, because um, I actually think it was like Amy. Amy was always giving me a run for my money, and um, I was always sitting there refreshing. I got to beat her today. I got to do 22,000 because she's at least going to do 20,000, or I got to do 30,000 today because I slacked off yesterday and only did 12,000. So I was super obsessed with the step leaderboard for the longest time. Now I'm not as obsessed with it because that's really not my goal anymore. Like to do that, but we'll get to that later. But
Yeah.
that was the first thing. The second thing that got obsessed with too is marking everything off, like those circles, the little circles with the check mark in it. I had to get all those completed, like before I go to bed at the end of each night, because that was really important. I felt like um, after I completed everything and that check mark and that circle was completely filled up, I did what I needed to do for the day. So I was real obsessed with that. But other than that, it's basically more, it's like super easy to track my foods on there, my waters, pretty much everything. They have like the scan codes. I found like one or two things that they don't have on there yet. You know what I mean? And it takes a second to add it on there if you really want to go and do that. But just it's super convenient to use. They got the workouts. I know when I first started, I didn't have a gym membership or anything like that. So like the workout programs, really wasn't using. But after I got a gym membership, I started using those like a little bit. I would make my own like custom workouts, uh, probably mostly like throughout the week. But then 1 or 2 days a week, I would go and do their workout or something like that because I don't know if a lot of people know, but I pretty much I have two rubber knees, pretty much, if you want to go like that. So there's a lot of things that I don't feel comfortable doing because I don't want to tear my ACLs or my MCLs or anything again like that. So I don't do a lot of like jerk movements.
Yeah,
Um,
MJ has a history of torn ligaments in his knees, both
yeah,
knees. So
yeah. So some of the workouts I don't feel comfortable completing. Just it's probably might be in my head, might not be. I
yeah,
don't want to find out.
you have to stroll into the gym like the offensive lineman in college, just double knee braced up.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the only chance I
Yeah.
got.
Where did that start?
We started. We were talking about
Yeah, the app features that you like, the step leaderboard. So
the step.
that's what I wanted to circle to. Um, that's honestly one of the things that I think is most impressive too, because like you said earlier in the call, those basic things, the water, the protein, and the daily steps, right? Like those being one of the more important aspects of getting results. I think that that's one of the more impressive pieces of what you've been able to accomplish is that everything that you've done so far and being able to lose the 58 pounds up to this point and um all of that is that you've done that without really doing, any kind of weights. It was all free, it was all body weight, it was all just walking,
Yeah.
but it was all walking and body weight stuff and then the nutrition stuff. So for anybody out there that thinks that you have to go to a gym to make significant progress, completely false. You're lying to yourself. MJ is a, example that that's just not the case at all.
To be honest, I think just sticking to the basics is probably the most important thing of anything you could do because the basics are the simple like a 5 step formula in our case to succeed. So if you stick to those basics and you hammer down those basics until you get them, there's no way you could fail because you're doing everything that you're supposed to do to continue on forward.
Yep. And again, it's something that anyone could do from anywhere. Like as long as you have functioning legs, you can walk.
Yeah.
So definitely love that side of it. We got 2.5 minutes left here. Um, I'm just gonna ask, what are your goals moving forward? Do you have any physical goals, performance goals? things like that. Let the people know what you're working towards, so they know what to look forward to as we, go through this next challenge and beyond.
Okay, so my goals are a little different than what they used to be. And my goals were to just get like losing weight, dropping as much as I could. But now I want to move to basically what my body looks like. I want to put on some more muscle while continuing to stay like slim. But I just want to change the whole outlook of my body. So I don't want to have like any goals as far as like a certain number like on the scale. This one for me is more of like appearance, what I look like, and I would say if I'm gonna make like a goal, it would be to start forming abs. Like I want to get I was like I want to be like stocky. I want to be like I'm thinking like 205 to 210, but I want to look good. I don't want to have like a flabby body. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more weight training, body weight and weight training, both of them. I'm gonna still continue to get my steps in because I still want to be slim. I'm still gonna eat like healthy on like the maybe not the as much calorie deficit as I was, but still continuing to eat low calories and basically getting a lot of my fuels off of fats instead of carbs because for me and the way my body handles the carbs, um, that's where I bloat more with them than I do with the fats. So I'm going to use my fuel as as I'm sorry as carbs. So I'm going to take the fats and use that as my fuel for this next challenge.
Absolutely. Um, I think that's a great idea. I have something for you, uh, for that ab display. Um, well, I'm rolling out a trial little ab program that I'll be
Oh, cool.
giving to a select few of you guys, my top performers, and kind of running you guys through it to see how it goes and see the results that it provides, and then it will get rolled out to the general public if the results look good.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna crush that then.
Yeah. So I just have to